All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a really interesting technique for learning English.
Yeah.
And it comes from this book called Améliore votre anglais,
Yeah.
Écoute et répétition.
Oh, la la la.
So yeah, it's a French book.
Okay.
But luckily for you guys, we can read French, and we're going to break it down and explain this really powerful technique that can help you take your English skills to the next level.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, me too. And, I think everyone listening can relate to this feeling of, language learning can sometimes feel like this huge, overwhelming task.
For sure.
And so we want to break down this technique. It's, surprisingly simple and effective.
Definitely.
So the core idea here is called listen and repeat.
Okay.
But it's not just like your typical, old school rote memorization where you just repeat things over and over again mindlessly. It's actually a lot more nuanced than that.
Yeah, it's about training your ears, it's about training your pronunciation, and it's also about training your natural phrasing.
Absolutely. And the book highlights three key benefits
Okay.
that come from this listen and repeat method. And the first one is training your ears to understand native speakers better.
Right.
The second one is improving your pronunciation and accent. And the third one is learning natural phrases and expressions that you wouldn't necessarily find in a textbook.
And I would even add to that naturalness helps you sound more fluent and less robotic,
Absolutely, yeah.
which ultimately is the goal, right? You want to have effortless conversations. You don't want to sound like you're thinking about every single word that you're saying.
Exactly, yeah. You want to be able to communicate naturally and spontaneously.
Yeah.
And not have to, pause and think about every single grammatical rule.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the three main benefits, and they all sound, pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, like, why are these benefits so important? Like, what makes them so crucial for language learning?
Well, think about it like if you can't understand native speakers in real world situations, then what's the point of learning a language? Like it's like having a car but not knowing how to drive it.
Right.
You need to be able to understand what people are saying to you in order to actually communicate.
Absolutely. It's the foundation of everything else.
Exactly. And then pronunciation, like that's your key to being understood and also feeling confident while you're speaking.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're constantly worried about how you sound or if people are going to understand you, it's going to really hold you back.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the natural phrases and expressions come in. Because if you can learn those chunks of language that native speakers use, then you're going to sound a lot more natural and fluent.
Exactly.
And a lot less like you're, translating from your native language in your head.
Yeah, it's going to make you sound more authentic and more comfortable. And the cool thing is there's actually some brain science behind this whole listen and repeat method.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Yeah, so when you hear and speak a language simultaneously, you're essentially like hitting the fast forward button on your brain's learning process.
So it's kind of like creating a shortcut.
Exactly. It's like building a superhighway for language acquisition.
So the more you do it, the faster you learn.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm sold on the benefits and the brain science, but let's get down to the practical stuff.
Sure.
How does this listen and repeat method actually work in practice? Like, what are the steps involved?
Well, it's actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
The first thing you need to do is choose some audio content that you enjoy. This could be anything from podcasts to movies to YouTube videos to audiobooks, as long as it's something that you find interesting and engaging.
Yeah, because if you're bored out of your mind, you're not going to stick with it.
Exactly. Once you've chosen your audio content, you're just going to listen to a sentence and then repeat it out loud.
It's kind of like being a parrot, but with more intention.
Exactly. You want to really focus on mimicking the pronunciation, the rhythm, and even the tone of the speaker.
So it's not just about repeating the words, it's about embodying the way they're spoken.
Exactly. You want to really internalize the sounds and the rhythms of the language.
Okay, so I get the basic idea, but I'm curious, like, are there any tips for choosing the right kind of audio content? Like, I'm a beginner. Should I be listening to, like, super fast-paced rap music?
Probably not a good idea to start with rap music. Yeah, I would recommend starting with material that's clear and easy to understand, like podcasts with slower speaking paces or audiobooks that are narrated in a clear and concise way.
So kind of like easing your way into it.
Exactly. You can gradually increase the difficulty as you progress.
So start with the bunny slopes before you hit the black diamond.
Precisely. And speaking of challenges, there's another technique that I want to mention that's kind of like the next level of listen and repeat, and it's called shadowing.
Shadowing. Yeah, I've heard of that. It sounds kind of intense.
It can be intense, but it's also super effective.
Hmm.
So basically, shadowing is where you play audio and you speak along with it simultaneously, trying to match the speed and the accent of the speaker as closely as possible.
So it's like you're their shadow.
Exactly. It can feel awkward at first, but if you stick with it, you'll see incredible improvements in your fluency and your confidence.
So what you're saying is it's like synchronized swimming, but with language.
Yeah, you could say that.
So basically you're trying to be in sync with the speaker.
Exactly.
Okay. And is there anything specific that makes shadowing so effective? Like, why is it so good for fluency and confidence?
Well, for one thing, it forces you to really pay attention to the rhythm and the flow of the language,
Yeah.
because you have to keep up with the speaker. And it also helps you to develop your muscle memory for producing the sounds of English.
So the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Exactly, and the more confident you'll feel speaking.
Yeah.
And I would also add that shadowing is particularly effective with interviews because the back and forth conversational style allows you to practice natural interactions.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, so you're not just shadowing one person, you're shadowing both sides of the conversation.
Exactly, which gives you a more well-rounded practice experience.
Yeah. Okay, so to recap, for all of our listeners out there who want to take their English to the next level, the key takeaway here is that the more you listen and repeat, the faster your brain will adapt to the natural flow of English.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, choose content that you genuinely enjoy. Make it a fun part of your routine, not a chore.
It's like anything else in life, you're more likely to stick with it if you enjoy it. And don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone with techniques like shadowing.
Exactly. It might feel awkward at first, but the rewards are worth it.
Absolutely. And here's a final thought for you to ponder. Think about the English language media you already love. How can you use it to practice these techniques and make your learning journey more enjoyable and effective?
That's a great question. I hope everyone listening will take some time to reflect on that.
Yeah, because the power to improve your English is right at your fingertips. So go out there, listen, repeat, and watch your fluency soar.
Happy shadowing, everyone.